This house was in Talbotton, Georgia, next to the Episcopal Church, and it was in Mr. Spivey, Felder Spivey's estate. And when it was sold, I bought it. But I was not going to fix it in Talbotton. This is probably maybe 20 years ago. I was not going to repair it there. I wanted to move it to the country. And so I waited till the roof went bad, and then I moved it and brought it here. And then I am copying a house I saw over at Sparta, Georgia, called Glen Mary. Glen Mary was built in the 1850s. They copied a house they had seen in Louisiana.
Wow.
And so it's not exactly like Glen Mary, but it's got a lot of the architectural components that Glen Mary's got. And anyway, we brought it here. We poured a slab, brought the house here in two parts, raised it 10 feet, put a roof on it, and now we're doing the inside and some more outside work. But
that's awesome. And so, Dan, you know about this house
yes,
as well?
I remember when he moved it here. And this house used to be behind the funeral home in Talbotton. I spent many lonely, cold days sitting in that funeral home, looking out the back door into the front door of this house. So this is amazing to me that Mike has been able to do this. This is really great.
Take a look at it.
We took down the Talbotton Depot. The person's family owned the Talbotton Short Railroad, and I bought the building. It was brick, took it down, and that's where all my brick has come from.
Gotcha.
That building was built in the 1870s, and so we've repurposed the brick, and a lot of the wood timbers that was in it I had sawed up, and that's going to be flooring for the upstairs. Look above the columns there, and you'll see the house has breast.
Sure does.
That's part of Greek architecture, and it was the fact that they had learned of the planets, and they were using that to, I can't think of the word, but that's what it represents.
Wow. And so it looks absolutely impressive. You see this from the road, this big old house sitting up here.
I can't wait for you to see. My son John is artistic, and this place at Glen Mary, and I got pictures at the house. It's got the most beautiful plasterwork crown molding that I have ever seen in any house in Savannah or Charleston. And this house, Glen Mary, is out in the middle of nowhere, just like this. But when you go inside, the downstairs was the working area, and that's going to be, this house is going to be plain and simple downstairs. But when you go upstairs, then I want you to really jump.
Yeah.
Mike, did you have this glass recreated?
I did.
That is amazing.
I found a place in Atlanta, and they did my glass.
That is beautiful. It is
Downstairs.
Tell us about it. It's wavy.
Yeah, the downstairs, the original glass, people had broken out, and it had the sickness in it. It wasn't clear. So I found a place up near Atlanta that did restoration glass, and so it's wavy. It's got the air bubbles in it.
That's awesome.
I'm sure it's made just like the old original glass was made.
Right.
And downstairs, it's clear glass. But upstairs, I hadn't decided. Glen Mary is ruby red. And etched in the ruby red is a vine motif with grapes. And I hadn't decided to go with red or blue. But I learned that in 1850 they had a choice of amber, which is in the Episcopal Church, or red or blue.
Gotcha. So this house is originally a one-story house?
One story, yeah. You could walk under it. It was high off the ground, but it was no living or usable downstairs.
So what are you going to do with the downstairs? It's going to be...
Downstairs is going to be we're going to put the chimneys back, fireplaces, and it'll have 8 fireplaces. And this will be simple and plain and wide boards for the walls. And it'll be the sort of the living area like I am when I come in with my overalls on. And use it maybe for a hunting lodge for a while. But it will eventually go to my son or my daughter, whichever.
Gotcha. And then the upstairs, the original house, will be the
upstairs
showpiece.
is the original house. And you know, I've never been up here if we didn't have a good breeze.
Yeah.
And we've got double doors everywhere. So we're going to you can see my doors over here. And we're going to have a good breeze up here. Of course, it may be cold, so cold you can't stay in it in the wintertime.
Right.
These are the original front columns, Dan.
Yeah.
This one and that one on that corner.
Wow.
And I think I've got some old cemetery fence, sort of plain, simple, and I think I'm gonna use that for my railing
Gotcha.
between the columns.
I know that video does not do this justice. I
Oh,
wish
yeah.
everyone could see this, what it's really like.
Well, we're feeling a good breeze anyway.
And the breeze is unbelievable. It feels great up here.
And you won't believe it, but they cultivated these hillsides. They are
Really?
terraced, and they actually plowed and cultivated. Now, how they did it, they had to have had more rain than we get,
Right.
because this sandy land is just not conducive to farming. But they did. They farmed it, and it's terraced.
Wow. How did you move this house? Was it broke up into pieces?
Two pieces,
Okay.
on the left and right side.
Gotcha.
Then I put the hall back, filled it in.
Gotcha.
Because I took the hall out when it was in Talbotton.
Right.
Tore it out. I had some Mexican guys up there tearing the roof off,
Yeah.
and they didn't speak very good English. And I said, now when you get the roof off, stop. Well, when I got back, I went uptown for something, come back, and they had torn the ceiling out,
Oh yeah.
which was good. It needed to tear, but I believe they'd have torn it down if I hadn't have stopped them.
Last time I was here, I don't believe this was here.
Come on. These two were formal rooms and had wainscoting, and the mantels have an Egyptian influence to them. And in 1840s, that was a big deal because they were discovering things in Egypt, and I don't know who all had been there, but there was a lot of influence back in the United States of Egyptian.
And I think you answered what I was going to ask is how old this house was.
1840. We
1840.
know 1840, maybe a little earlier.
Gotcha.
And the boards that you see are boards that we saw that we've lightning strikes or bugs kill or whatever. But when I find one that's dying, I cut it and then we use it.
Gotcha. So it's you could say it's really sustainable and not letting anything go to waste on what you're doing there.
That's right. And I'm gonna turn this into a playhouse for the grandchildren. And when I got the steps in here a week or two ago, the grandchildren came up here. They're 4 and 6. I said, I'm gonna put you a playhouse up there. Well, they came up here and they come back down and said, we don't see a playhouse. But we're gonna have some stairs going on up where you can open those windows and look out and get a good air flow coming through.
So this is a
You going up?
3-story house now.
You going up? There's a ladder right there.
Is there?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Not dizzy, are you?
A little bit.
All right, now. Get some air going. Yeah, that feels better.
Oh man, I can tell you, this is higher than I like to be. But boy, this is cool.
Mike knows how I am about heights.
Put 1 foot at a time.
Oh, I believe this is probably.
It's not bad once you get up here.
I hate to come this far and not look out that window.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got to come on up.
Are you sure this ladder doesn't extend any farther?
No. Just have to crawl on up.
Oh my gosh.
Keep climbing.
As long as I don't think about it, I'll be all right.
You got
Don't
it.
think about it.
Oh, you got it.
Oh yeah.
Good air.
Wow.
This is farther up than the Geneva
About the same.
Methodist Church steeple.
It's about like that.
This is much
I was thinking
taller.
about the other night. That bell fell.
This is much higher than that. Oh my gosh. This is like being in a fire tower. Ooh.
Oh, I climbed out the window to get up on the top. Put
No.
that railing up
Oh,
there.
No.
No.
Put that iron railing up there.
Did you do that?
Uh-huh, yeah. I tied a rope around me.
Wow.
Well, I knew if I fell off, that'd be the end of my.
Wow.
I thought being on the roof of my house was bad, but I think this has
Oh.
the farmhouse beat, Dan.
think I can see Waverly Hall from here. Where's the courthouse in Talbotton? You ought to be able to see it. I don't know, maybe a hill between here
Yes,
and
they're
there.
too much of a hill. It ought to be right over yonder somewhere, but we got a hill between us.
Not these.
Nope, there's one more.
Here, out of the way. Hang on to something.
Get in the window where you get some air.
Yeah.
Look at that, it didn't bother her one bit. She just came right on up here.
I did it.
We've climbed all these ladders. There's one more. Now, I know you're not gonna
Wait, is this your?
renege on this one.
I'll be the cameraman while you do it.
You're not, are you?
I'll be the cameraman.
I am, but I didn't plan it down here.
Oh.
Just,
So this was a one-story house, and now originally when this was built, this was a one-story house, and now we're what, 4 stories up, 3 stories up,
Or 3.
3.
Well, right here we're 4 stories, aren't we?
3.
Just 3.
It just feels like 4 stories.
Feels like it's amazing. God, this is beautiful. Do you come up here and watch the sunset?
I guess you could call it 4.
This is
a 4.
That's right. Ground floor, first floor,
Second.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've come up.
Don't
Yeah.
listen to me. I
Came
don't.
into
This is
what
the
used to be
fourth.
the attic.
This is the
Yeah.
4th level anyway.
They call this what, a cupola?
Yeah, the third floor would have been the attic. So,
Okay.
all right.
Let me get around.
Well, I'm not gonna leave. This is perfect. Have you been up here in a rainstorm yet, Mike?
No, I don't like lightning.
Ooh.
Well, you got a lightning rod?
lightning up here.
You got a lightning rod?
Actually,
That's
that
what
would be
this is
that'd probably be really cool.
Oh, well, get that installed and then you can hang out up here.
Dan,
Huh?
I'll let you go down.
Yeah, I'm
I'll
going
just
down there.
hang up,
This is
hang
so
out with
cool.
Joy here
That's right. It's so nice up here. The breeze.
until I have to. Yeah, it is. It is nice.
I'll tell you when,
The sky is amazing.
if you want, I'll guide your foot on
I mean, I
there.
come from the Pacific Northwest where it's obviously picturesque and snow-covered mountains, but the sky here is so
I'll be all right.
amazing.
There you go. Your own.
Just in case I fell through the.
Oh, we're gonna document it.
Then you know.
Yeah, we've got to know
At least
how,
we could.
how it ended.
That's right.
We know how it began, we got to know how it ended.
There's your place. Okay, that's better. Thank you.